Here comes the treasurer. Just Here's the treasurer. Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders. I was hopeful of having an opportunity to chat with Josh Freydenberg, but he chose to use the full security car park entrance to their ABC at Southbank. I wanted to congratulate him on his observation early in his interview with David Spears that the top 20% of income earners in Australia are paying 60% of Australia's personal income tax. So anyone who says that people need to pay their fair share, I think there is a reasonable argument that top income earners are paying a fair share. Now, whether the Greens would be entirely satisfied with that is debatable. But high income earners are paying a lot of tax, unless they're availing themselves of arrangements, either legitimate or otherwise. I spent 26 years as an ATO auditor helping people in business to find taxable income that they didn't realise they had, and I got a great deal of satisfaction when I handed over a proposal for amended assessments based on my findings of a review of their affairs. But I never lost sight of the fact that business people are the basis for much of the Australian economy. They work long hours, they risk their financial resources, and they derive a profit and a benefit, but they do pay tax. Most of them pay substantial taxes. I was also intrigued at the questioning of Josh Freydenberg in relation to the deficits that are booked to occur for perhaps the next 10 years. But there was virtually no reference to the reason that Australia is in this financial predicament, and that reason is the spreading of the COVID pandemic, in my opinion, from China in circumstances which I find extremely troubling, especially given what appears to be a lack of cooperation by the Communist Chinese authorities in allowing a full and frank examination of the source of the original pandemic infection and how it was spread to the rest of the world, apparently from Wuhan, over several months, when China had shut down their own internal travel but allowed tens, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people to travel from Wuhan to various destinations around the world. I've been seeing reports that so-called gain-of-function research was occurring at the Wuhan Institute of Virology in the year or two before the COVID-19 pandemic started. And my understanding is that research was intended to increase the transmissibility of viral infections to humans, purportedly in an aid to develop treatments and vaccines, but the unfortunate actual result appears to have been that COVID was released and spread throughout the globe, resulting in hundreds of millions of infections and several million global deaths. And there is very little media commentary in the mainstream media about the source of the infection and the apparent failure of the Chinese Communist authorities to cooperate fully in getting to the bottom of the source of the infection and how it spread. I also wanted to ask Josh Freydenberg if it's the fact that Hamas and Islamic Jihad are two entities which are regarded by Australia as terrorist organisations. And I wanted to ask Josh his view on the current conflict in Israel and the Gaza Strip. There have been global demonstrations in favour of the Palestinian cause. I'm unaware of any such demonstrations or any demonstrations in Australia in support of the right of Israelis to protect themselves. My understanding of news reports is that something in the order of 2,000 or more rockets have been fired from Gaza and or Lebanon aimed at Israel. And I know there's a long history of this, going back 70 or 80 years, but we are faced with the reality of the situation now, and I don't think anyone could be expected to sit and do nothing while rockets rain down on them, fired by an enemy on their border. Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders.